After giving birth, my husband's mother insisted we move in with her, saying, "You owe me a chance to raise my grandchild." When I refused, she cried to my husband, "She's trying to keep me away." My husband sighed, "Can't you just compromise?" The next day, she showed up to our house and found the locks changed. After our daughter, Lily, was born, my mother-in-law, Barbara, insisted we move in with her, saying, "You owe me a chance to raise my grandchild." When I refused, she cried to my husband, "She's trying to keep me away." My husband sighed, "Can't you just compromise?" The next day, she showed up at our house and found the locks changed. Barbara had always been a dominant figure in our lives. When I married David, I knew she had strong opinions, but I never anticipated how much she would try to control our family decisions. Lily was born on a crisp autumn morning in Asheville, North Carolina. The labor was long and exhausting, but holding Lily in my arms made every moment worthwhile. Barbara was at the hospital, waiting anxiously in the corridor. As soon as she saw Lily, her eyes lit up with a mix of joy and determination. "She's beautiful," Barbara cooed, reaching out to hold her. "You know, I have plenty of experience with babies. You should come stay with me for a while. I can help you raise her." I smiled politely, "Thank you, Barbara, but I think David and I would like to settle in at home, just the three of us." Her face tightened. "But you owe me a chance to raise my grandchild," she insisted. David stepped in, "Mom, we appreciate your offer, but we need to find our own rhythm as a family." Barbara's eyes welled up with tears. "She's trying to keep me away," she wailed, looking at David for support. David sighed, "Can't you just compromise?" I was taken aback. "Compromise? David, we need our space." The next morning, as I was nursing Lily, I heard a knock at the door. Peering through the window, I saw Barbara standing there with a suitcase. I opened the door slightly. "Barbara, what are you doing here?" "I'm moving in to help with Lily," she declared, trying to push past me. I blocked her path. "I'm sorry, but that's not going to work for us." Her face turned red with anger. "This is my grandchild. I have rights." Feeling overwhelmed, I said firmly, "Barbara, please leave. We need time to adjust as a new family." She stormed off, muttering under her breath. That evening, David and I had a heated discussion. He felt torn between his mother and our new family. I explained how crucial it was for us to establish boundaries. The following day, while David was at work, I decided to change the locks. I needed to ensure our home was a safe space for our new family. When Barbara returned and found herself unable to enter, she was livid. She called David repeatedly, leaving angry voicemails. David finally understood the gravity of the situation. He supported my decision and communicated to his mother that we needed space. Over time, Barbara realized that her overbearing approach was pushing us away. She began to respect our boundaries, and our relationship slowly improved. Setting boundaries was challenging, but it was necessary for the well-being of our new family. So yeah, after Barbara found the locks changed and realized we meant business, she left. But I knew that wasn't the end. A week went by. David and I were adjusting to life with Lily. She cried a lot at night, and I was running on caffeine and leftovers. But still, I felt good. Like, this is our home. This is our baby. This is how it's supposed to be. Until one afternoon, a strange woman knocked on the door. She smiled real big and said, "Hi, I'm Susan. I'm with CPS. We got an anonymous report about an unsafe environment for a newborn." I felt my heart drop straight into my stomach. I stood there holding Lily. She was clean, fed, even in her soft little bunny onesie. I opened the door wider. "I'm sorry, what?" She repeated it. "Someone reported us. Said our baby was living in neglectful conditions. Said we were not allowing family support and might be dealing with postpartum mental instability." I laughed, then cried, then tried to explain everything to this poor woman who was just doing her job. She looked around the house, which was messy, sure, but not dangerous. She checked Lily healthy, no signs of anything wrong. She stayed for nearly 2 hours, asking questions, writing things down. At the end, she said, "I'm sorry this happened to you. I can't tell you who reported it, but between us, it's not hard to guess." David came home just as Susan left. I told him everything. He looked sick. She wouldn't. I didn't answer. We both knew. He called Barbara that night. She denied it, of course. Cried again. Accused me of turning David against her. I would never do something like that. I only want what's best for Lily. Next morning, there were 2 long posts on Facebook from Barbara. One about being heartbroken by a cruel daughter-in-law who keeps a loving grandmother away. The other one, that was about me. She called me unstable. Said I'd turned her own son against her. That she feared for her granddaughter's safety. That grandmothers have rights, too. I was livid. Embarrassed. I was getting messages from people I hadn't talked to in years. Old high school friends. Cousins. Even my former boss. Some asking if I was okay. Some clearly believing her. David tried to talk to her again. She wouldn't listen. "You're choosing her over your own mother," she snapped. "No," he said. "I'm choosing my wife. And our child." 2 days later, we came home from a grocery run and found our backyard gate open. It was locked when we left. Nothing looked stolen, but the swing on the porch was moving like someone had just been there. There was also a stuffed elephant sitting by the back door. We didn't own that toy. David checked the security camera app. We had one by the front door and one in the living room. But the backyard? Nothing. We never thought we'd need one. That changed real quick. We called the police. They came, took a statement, told us without actual trespassing or damage there wasn't much they could do. Could have been a neighbor kid, one officer shrugged. Sure, maybe. But I knew. David knew. It was Barbara. And this time, I was done playing nice. After that stuffed elephant incident, I didn't sleep right for days. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and check every door, every window. I even kept a kitchen knife on the nightstand. Maybe it was overkill, but I felt like I was in some psychological thriller where the villain was my own mother-in-law. David was furious too, but torn. Deep down, I think a piece of him still wanted to believe his mom wouldn't cross a certain line. That illusion shattered the next week. Lily was crying one night. Just one of those long, tired newborn cries. I was rocking her in the living room when I noticed something strange outside. Headlights. Parked across the street. Engine off. Just sitting there. I watched for a while. No one got out. Eventually, the lights turned off, but the car stayed. I told David. He checked. California plates. We live in North Carolina. He swore it looked like his cousin's car. He hadn't talked to that cousin in years. Not since Barbara's side of the family imploded over some inheritance drama. Next morning, the car was gone. But taped to our mailbox? A printed note. Just 6 words. She needs her real family back. That's when we got serious. David installed 2 more security cameras, front yard and backyard. We set up motion alerts. We bought a baby monitor with video and started keeping every weird thing documented. And then, things got weirder. I went to Lily's pediatrician for a routine checkup, and the receptionist looked at me oddly. "Hey, weird question," she said, "but your mother-in-law came in here last week, said she was taking over Lily's appointments." I froze. "She what?" "Yeah," the receptionist said, looking uncomfortable. She asked for copies of Lily's records. Claimed there was a custody situation. We didn't give her anything, obviously, but you might want to flag your file. I was shaking. I called David from the car. I couldn't even get the words out at first. That night, we talked for hours. David admitted something he hadn't told me before. Back when I was still pregnant, Barbara had once joked that if I ever got overwhelmed, she'd be happy to step in. Raise the baby herself. I didn't think anything of it, he said, eyes full of regret. But maybe I should have. That night, I wrote everything down. Every incident. Every quote. I emailed myself copies. I didn't know what Barbara was building toward, but it felt like something big. Something planned. And then it came. 2 days later, we were served. She filed for grandparents' rights. In the state of North Carolina, grandparents can file if they claim they've been unjustly cut off. She claimed abandonment. She said we were unfit, that we had mental health issues. She even listed the CPS visit as if it backed her case. The court date was set for 6 weeks out. David and I sat at the kitchen table that night in silence. The baby monitor hummed in the background. Lily slept peacefully, unaware that her grandmother was trying to legally take a piece of her away. "I can't believe this is real," David said. "It's war now," I told him. "And I'm not losing. We got a lawyer. A real good one. She specialized in high-conflict family cases. She listened to everything, took notes, and finally looked up and said, 'This is serious. You need to prepare for war.'" I was already there. David was quiet. I could tell he was holding guilt in his chest like a rock. This was his mom, after all. But she wasn't acting like a mom. She was acting like an enemy. The next few weeks were a blur of paperwork, court prep, and babysitters. Our house started feeling less like a home and more like a fortress. Then came court day. Barbara showed up with her own lawyer, a slimy guy in a shiny suit. She wore all black, like she was going to a funeral. Maybe in her mind, she was mourning the control she'd lost. She took the stand first. And let me tell you, she performed. Tears, fake shakes, dramatic sighs. She told the judge I was mentally unstable. Claimed I refused to let her see Lily out of spite. Said she was worried about Lily's emotional development because I isolated her from family love. Then her lawyer brought up the CPS visit. Then the pediatrician story. They even tried to say that Lily looked too thin in recent photos. My stomach flipped. I was so angry I couldn't speak for a second. Then it was my turn. I didn't cry. I didn't shake. I told the truth. I told the judge how Barbara showed up uninvited with a suitcase. How she accused me of keeping Lily from her like she had rights over my child. How she harassed us online. Tried to take over medical appointments. Left toys by our back door like warnings. Called CPS on us. And then David got up. He looked his mom in the eyes and said, "This isn't love. This is obsession. You're not protecting Lily. You're trying to own her." It was dead silent. The judge asked some questions. Our lawyer laid everything out, organized and clean. Every message, every voicemail, every incident. Even the footage of the stuffed elephant on our porch, turns out, Barbara's cousin was driving that car. We got security cam footage from a neighbor who caught her face at the edge of the frame. Barbara's mask started slipping then. She tried to yell something in court. The judge warned her once. Then twice. The third time, she slammed her hand on the desk and called me a conniving little girl. Big mistake. The judge denied her petition. Said she had overstepped every possible boundary. Said we had acted with restraint. Said she was lucky we weren't filing harassment charges. But we did, actually. Right after. We filed a restraining order. Barbara was banned from contacting us, coming near our house, or trying to reach Lily through any third party. The Facebook posts? We had those too. Screenshots, time-stamped. She had to delete them. One of them cost her a teaching job at the church she volunteered at. Turns out they don't like liars who weaponize children. David hasn't spoken to her since. And as for me? I don't feel bad. Not even a little. Yes, maybe I should have set firmer boundaries earlier. Maybe I should have spoken up louder when Barbara first started stepping over the line. But I was tired. I had just given birth. And instead of giving me space to breathe, she tried to steal my life. She tried to take my daughter. No, I don't feel bad. Now? Lily just turned 2. She's happy, healthy, thriving. She'll never know what her grandmother tried to do. And we plan to keep it that way. As for Barbara? Well, last I heard, she moved out of state. Some distant cousin took her in. No one else would. She made her choice. And I made mine. Don't ever mess with a mother in her own home. Especially not one who just had a baby. Because the love I have for my daughter? That's the kind of love you don't fight against. You never win.